Alright, so in this video we're going to talk about how to bottom deck with Marco and how top deck can kind of make those decisions. This is going to be a rough cut, but before we begin, if you could just do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Over 80% of my viewers aren't subscribed. You could just hit that, it helps me out a ton, and let's go ahead and get in. Alright, so the Marco video obviously took off a lot, and a lot of people have had a lot of questions, so I'm really hoping to kind of just help you all here. This is going to be like a one-cut type deal, because again, like these videos, they usually take a lot of time, and even like just trying to edit them takes a lot of time, so I figured it'd just be easier to do it this way and kind of explain. In today's video, we're going to be talking about different ways to execute your top deck and how to play, in my opinion, really optimally with Marco. Now, there's a lot of different ways you can do this, and I'm going to try to cover as many as I can think of in this video. But so, we're just going to kind of like work here and see. So typically, when it comes to your top deck and when to bottom deck. So, first things first, number one rule. If you've set up the Doflamingo, always stack on top. Unless you're factoring in your stack, the bottom deck, you're going to throw off your curve. Now, does it matter as much if you're going second? No, because you can just stack the card on top and spit out a Sanji, or after 10 Dawn. But the 9 Dawn turn, when you're forced to go first, and honestly, I played first a lot, and I really liked it, because you play Sanji on 9, you're just so far ahead. You play a Sanji on 9, you're just so far ahead. But to set that up, there's a number of ways in which you can do it. But first things, like when you go Doflamingo, say you can play Doflamingo on 3, but just remember, so then you look at the top 5. And so we have a big drop, which is great. These are all pretty lackluster. So we're going to see all of those, but we can stack for an Ivankov. So say we have the Ivankov. Say we played this on 3. We're going to want to go, let's just say draw. So this is going to be our 5 Dawn. And then we're going to play this with Ivankov on 5. This is going to be our 7. And then this is going to be our 9. But if we weren't going to play Ivankov, we would go 5, 7. Actually, that's so wrong. Haha. Okay. I'm not cutting this, by the way. But we're going to go, this is going to be your draw, so this is your 5 Dawn turn. Then we're going to play this. You draw this during your 7. You draw this during your 9. You need this to be your last one. You need this to be your last one, because you're going to go draw, play, 7, draw, draw. Probably won't use Ivankov to draw solely because of that, which is another thing. You need to make sure that you don't throw that off, because then on 9, you're going to play Sanji spitting out this new game. Now, let's say, similar to that, let's say we have these. These are just like a good idea, because these are kind of like all the big combo cards here. Let's say you have these. I'm going to shuffle this, and then we'll kind of just play it by ear. But let's say, ideally, I don't even like to play this on 3. I like to play Ivankov on 3 if possible. Just because Doflamingo, it gets me one card deeper, because sometimes I might not even have a Sanji. But we're playing under the scenario of having Sanji. We're going to go Ivankov. So we would have drawn for our second turn. We would have 3 Dawn. We would play Ivankov. Unfortunate that was putting. We'd reveal it. It's Otama. I actually don't even want the Otama. I have a 2K, so I would bottom deck it, but you could choose to leave it on top. And then you go to your 5. And then you would draw 1. Who cares about the life? That's so funny how in between those, they were both targets. But now, you have 2 options. So this is one way. So I want to play this on my 7 Dawn turn. I don't have another big drop. So I'm not going to attach one yet, just in case I want to do a Duval afterwards. I am going to go 3, play Doflamingo. But in the event that there isn't any bigs, so yeah, this is big unfortunate because there isn't anything we want to play here. And so this is exactly the kind of scenario. So if you're afraid of that, ideally you have another big in your hand, but I think the value of this Newgate is still worth it to play on 7, and then you'd stack this ace. But let's say we really, say this is Rayleigh. Let's say that this is Rayleigh. One of the things that you can do, because I can only play him on 9, instead of that, you can go, before you play Doflamingo, you can attach 1 to your leader ability, draw 1, stack the Rayleigh. So you stack the Rayleigh, and then you pay 3, play the Doflamingo, and then you're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're on 5. So, and we have an Ivankov. So Ivankov's already established. You can factor in the draw. Let's say I want to draw this ace for my 7, but so now this is ace, Ivankov draw. We'll take this. This is 7. This is the 9 draw. Then this is going to be spit out with Sanji. And then this will be just a card that I'm going to inevitably bottom deck. But now we can play out the Rayleigh, and you pretty much loaded your own card. That's pretty decent if you have like the curves, or specifically with Rayleigh while going first. It's just one of those things you can do, and then you go Ivankov draw, then you go 7, draw, 9, draw, then you're playing Sanji, and you're like, boom. So that's one of those ways that you can do it. Unless I have an absolute ton of them, I don't like to bottom deck the large characters. It's crazy to see all those Duvals though. But yeah, you can load it in, and then when it comes to Duval, so Duval is great early because like you want to, especially off of the Ivankov, if you hit that, you go like Ivankov, and then you reveal this on 3. You can look at your top 3. Now keep in mind, these are the next cards you're gonna see. It's very important, like, yeah, do I need Gravity Blade Raging Tiger this game? Do I need any of these cards? If none of them are big drops, because like you need, say you don't have Sanji, if none of these are Sanji, and you want to try to hit that Sanji, or you don't have any large characters, you're not going to be able to advance your game state. I would bottom deck these. I would bottom deck that scenario, and then I would go, and then we'd draw, and just try to go as deep as possible. Because ideally, if you have Sanji, you want to play Duval on 7, and we don't have any great 7-Don plays, you can play him on 5, because then you go 5, you go 7, you go 9, and then boom, there's a Sanji play. So you can play him on 5, you just need to make sure that you don't do anything to disrupt the flow. That's kind of one of the reasons, I hate to say it, why I kind of cut Pilaf. I think Pilaf is a great card, but if you trigger it out of life, you don't have to activate it. You don't. So there is that. But it can mess up your stack, and then you won't be able to activate until like later, which is still pretty good. The card is really good. But yeah, the big thing I think a lot of people misunderstand is like, even here, like again on 5, say like, you know, if you want to make sure you have a large character, or you have like a bunch in your hand, say you have, let's see, Rayleigh, Newgate here. You can go be like, attach 1, draw 1, stack. I will stack the Rayleigh, right? Like Rayleigh is the best card to stack in most instances. This one's possibly better versus Dofi. But then you pay your 2, then you know you have one on top. And you're like, okay, yeah. And you're going to put him, again on 5, just put him straight to the back. Because you go 7, 9, boom. And again, going second, you're allowed to stack your own thing, so that your stack doesn't matter, quote, as much. You need to make sure that you get to the cards you want to see. If you need an extra Dawn somewhere else, you know, you can spare it off of the leader, which is very cool. Or even if you hit the Newgate, you can attach 1 there and then use the effect, and then also put another Dawn somewhere else towards like removal. It's kind of the same thing, but you can go like 1 card deeper. Because if you know that this is on top, then you draw it, but then you spit it out, and then you attach one, then you get the draw. And then the biggest thing too is if you don't open Sanji, Doflamingo is your favorite card to have. Doflamingo, you can stack, and then so I'm going to just create a stack. Let's say Nuge, Sanji, Pudding, Fire Fist. Now, so you play this on 3. So what's so cool about this, you know, you've got your hand, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. You've got your hand, but there's no Sanji in it. No Sanji in it. So the great part is, so there, in this instance, if you're going first, there is the Newgate. And you can play the Newgate, but we already have a Newgate in our hand. Because again, like, Newgate is really great on 7. It is like your best 7 play. Because you get to establish that threat. And so, and remove a body. But you can go and stack and be like, okay, so we're on turn 3. This is my draw for 5. This is my draw for 7. I want to draw Sanji on 9, and then stack the body you're going to play, and that Fire Fist we're probably going to bottom deck unless we're playing. And then, of course, you can arrange, like, if you're playing Dofi, you can put the Fire Fist on top. Of course, this depends on if you have an event in hand. If not, and you know you're not going to see any event, definitely just backload it. Like, you can front load it, but, because, like, you never know what'll come out of life. But, yeah, and then just make sure that, you know, again, so you go 5, 7... 9 here, backload something. So 3 and 4, assuming you don't play Pilaf, should be, and you can stack for a Sanji play, set yourself up. You know what's going to happen every turn, and then you know on your 9 you're going to drop a gigantic guy. And then even better, truthfully, is if you go 7, play here, then you go 9, play here, because then you still get to use your leader ability, draw that Fire Fist, bomb deck it, and then just keep going. So it's things like that. And then, of course, going second, I still like the Newgate. I think Newgate's really good, mostly because you can answer Jack. Sadly, on 8, you can't answer Jack with Rayleigh. I think if Jack is on board too, you should play Rayleigh and use leader ability on 9 before doing a Sanji, and you can just front load your Sanji with whatever you have in hand. Also, super underrated in late game, establishing a threat and a blocker. So stacking a Doflamingo into your life, or even like against BY, if you don't have a large body and you don't have a second one and you have the opportunity, stacking a Pudding and spitting out a Pudding isn't the worst. So it's just different things like that. But yeah, I think the biggest thing when drawing, and then I guess I'll just show kind of like a sample hand. But you want the way you win is through your bigger characters. So you definitely don't want to give those up when you're going through. I think the key, it depends on your deck too. But like Ivankovs, if I have multiple Ivankovs, if it's a matchup, like say I play Seaquake, if I know that this has 0 value in this matchup, like if they play Kuzan, I'm keeping the Seaquake because it's an answer there. But if not, like, and I have 2 Ivankov, I'll be like, draw, okay, ace, bottom deck here, or I'll be like, bottom deck here, because you want to go deeper. Once we set our stack, though, we kind of go, but, like, you get the go, and it's important to do it on the first one, too. Then we draw Fire Fist, so I know I don't play Fire Fist, but if we're on 3, you go Ivankov, reveal. If we're on 4, you attach 1, draw C, and then you okay. Then I'd be like, bottom deck this if I know that I'm not playing this, and then I'd play Ivankov, and wow, it was a Pudding. And you'd add it to your hand. So it just depends, and that's going second, obviously. But if I was going first, I would just play the Ivankov, see what it is. If it wasn't like, say it was Jozu, I reveal a Jozu. I know I have Sanji, but I don't have any big characters or searchers. I'm going to put that to the bottom, because I'm looking for specific cards. And so every card I can get out of the way digs me just a little bit deeper. So you can dig with Marco. You can also dig just a little bit with the Ivankov. And then we draw. Then we'd be on 5. It can be like 5. We don't have anything crazy. You get the Ivankov draw. So they're like, boom, okay, we found a Sanji. Sick. and then you can be like, well, now we have that, you know, be like, boom. Like, we already have 2, but little things like that. And then, yeah, then you found the new gate. You found a new gate. Now, you can blind a Sanji, but in this instance, when I hit 9, I probably just play new gate, just because new gate is that powerful. On 7, I probably apply a lot of pressure, play like a pudding. Different scenarios, yeah. Sanji would reveal a Sanji. You can't play that. He would get bottom deck. Not a lot of big characters coming up. So, like, ideally, you, of course, have a searcher, but if not, worst case, you can blind. If you really have a play and you're in a healthy position, you can wait to go to 10 and then, like, you know, stack your own. Or, of course, if you're going second, then you just spit both these out on 10 and you're big cooking. But if not, like, you're probably, everybody I think just wants to go first. So you're probably going first a lot. But yeah, let me know if this video helps. And as always, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It helps me out a ton.